I'm Brian Easton, the author of the autobiography of a Werewolf Hunter series,
I'm Miles Boothe, publisher of Envy Press.
and this is Whiskey with the Werewolf Hunter.
Friday night, I'm going nowhere. All the lights are changing, green to red. Turning over TV stations, situations running through my head. Looking back through time, you know it's clear that I've been blind, I've been a fool to open up my heart to all that jealousy, that bitterness, that ridicule.
Well, as you can see, we are not at the Werewolf Bar. We are, in fact, at the Werewolf Bar South in Florida with Miles Boothe. Thanks for coming by to spend some time with us tonight.
Happy to be here.
We're going to have our creature of the night to start things off, like we always do. This is apropos for what we're going to be talking about this evening. This is a little number I picked up. It's an Irish copper pot still called Writer's Tears. Now, the copper pot still, or pure pot still as it's known, is a tradition of distilling that is unique to Ireland. And so one imagines, because Ireland has turned out so many playwrights and poets and writers, that writer's tears and an Irish whiskey just kind of go together. One imagines a link between those two things.
You don't have to be Irish.
And you don't have to be Irish, but we know when we're talking about people like W.B. Yeats and George Bernard Shaw, Oscar Wilde, and let's not forget Bram Stoker, it just fits the evening. So, with that in mind, we're going to crack open some Writer's Tears, and they are dark and bitter, so I think that goes along with what we're talking about. And cheers.
Cheers.
And to you. So, I don't usually have Irish whiskeys on the show because I'm more of a bourbon guy. But it's been a while. But this has the distinctive taste of an Irish whiskey. Mm-hmm. I could have picked this out of a blind taste test, I think.
It's not too much of a bite.
No.
But you're getting all the, I like to think you can taste the copper pot distilling aspect of it.
Yeah, spicy. It's light. Doesn't have the body, and it wouldn't, of a bourbon. But yeah, it's got a malty taste to it. It's got a young taste to it.
It does.
Not necessarily green, which you don't generally want any kind of whiskey. But it does have a younger taste to it. So yeah, pretty tasty. So tonight we have a chaser for our creature, which we usually don't do. But Miles has picked up something to chase the creature with. What do we have here?
Appropriately by the Dead Words Brewing Company. It's a Bridge American Lager, and the Dead Words went right along with the Writer's Tears.
Yeah.
So we had to decide to give this one a shot.
Dead Words Ale. All right, let's crack it open and give it a shot.
See how it is.
Could have poured this in the whiskey and had a Boilermaker. Dead Words and Writer's Tears. So the last time that Miles and I got together was 2021, and we recorded outside from the Werewolf Bar South here in Florida. And we announced to you and shared the authors who were going to be contributing to the anthology Legends of the Werewolf Hunter. Well, tonight we are here to once again announce a Legends of the Werewolf Hunter Anthology Part 2. And we're excited to do it. We've got a great team. assembled for it. It's a fun group, and we've been working on this kind of, unannounced for 3 or 4 months, and this is the time we thought to unveil that. So we've got some returning authors coming back from the first edition. Tom Brannan. And you worked with Tom longer than I have. What can you tell us about Tom Brannan?
He's done a lot of work. Tom's very well known for doing his Tales of the Century series, which includes Breaking Dawn and Vampire Sky. You can get those on Amazon as well. And he's also very well known for his work with David Snell in the Pavlov's Dogs series. And new to this anthology is D.L. Snell. And you'll remember him from Roses of Blood on Barbed Wire Vines from Bermuda Press. And he also did Pavlov's Dogs, co-authored with Tom Brannan. And he's a really great addition to this crowd. We're excited that he's part of it. And that's, just more good reading for everybody involved.
Yeah, glad to have D.L. Snell on board with this project. And we're also returning Basil Sands. Who is the author of the Ice Hammer series, among others. And of course, Basil reads the audio books for my series.
Also returning is Rob Pegler, who wrote the lead story in the last book. We chose that one for the lead. It's called Magic Hour. And you'll remember him from Coppertown Red, his own werewolf series. That Envy published. So we're excited to have Rob back and see what he's got.
Yeah, it's going to be a spiritual sequel, he says, to the story Magic Hour, which he did with us last time. We've also got returning Matthew Bow. Matthew, as you may remember, is a contributor to numerous anthologies, from pulp fiction type anthologies to the Lone Ranger and Western genres. And we're very glad that he accepted the offer to come back with us for this second outing. Last time that we got together and when we were talking about the first anthology, we had told you that Sarah Lunsford was going to be a part of that project. Well, due to circumstances beyond her control, she couldn't be involved in the anthology the last time. But we've got her on board this time. Everything is different, and we're going to have Sarah contributing to the anthology. Now, Sarah is known for a multitude of books that she writes under different pseudonyms, but under Sarah Lunsford, you can find her books Sweet Hell on Fire and Tooth and Nail. And she has a great following, and I know you're going to want to check out her contribution to this anthology.
Excited to see that one.
Yeah. Also, we're going to have Amanda Rogers from our own Amanda Asks, and Mr. Boothe himself is going to be contributing like he did last time. We're looking forward to all of those stories, and we're looking even more forward to bringing them to you. So when this all comes together, we're aiming for a publication date winter 2024. Maybe earlier than that, no promises. We'll just have to see what happens. We want to give the writers time to stretch their legs, take their time with their stories, and bring in the best possible finished product. And just to kind of talk a little bit about, some teasers.
The beginning stages, what's in the works here.
What's in the works, and let me remind you, in case you don't know, the whole idea behind the anthology, The Legends of the Werewolf Hunter, is to branch off in whatever different direction our authors see fit, to expand upon the Sylvesterverse, the world created in the first trilogy, and then again in the Michael Winterfox journals, which, by the way, will be coming your way next month or so.
Which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it was a long time coming for me, and took a while to finish that. So we're glad to be bringing that to you.
A whole separate episode.
Right, right, yeah, for sure. So we gave our authors, liberty to pretty much explore any pathway they want. We had a couple of rules. You can't use Sylvester as your main character or Michael Winter Fox, and there were a few other guidelines. But I mean, other than that, it was like find something in the end or in the trilogy or the Michael Winter Fox series that catches your fancy. A question left unanswered, a door left unlocked.
What's going on around the peripheral? What's happening in that world?
And take it and run with it, and we trust all of our authors enough to do that. We didn't just pull names out of a hat when it came to inviting authors into this anthology or the first one. So we trust them, we take them seriously, they take us seriously, and we're here to make sure that all comes about in a way that kind of fits with canon and expands upon the whole world of Sylvester Logan James and the autobiography of the Werewolf Hunter series. So with that in mind, just a few quick teasers here. You may be seeing the return of a certain New Orleans detective in the anthology, one who helped Sylvester during his original time in New Orleans, and the
Book one.
rabid werewolf, Silas Piper. What else can we see?
So you get a spiritual sequel, according to Rob Pegler, to Magic Hour. And Rob's keeping most of that under wraps, but the few ideas that he's put out there sound really good, and we're talking about a generational storyline, which if you read Magic Hour, holds a lot of promise. There's a lot left unsaid in that original story.
It's true. And he is definitely keeping a lot of that under wraps, but like I said, we trust our authors. And we're looking forward to that spiritual sequel. And it's a spiritual sequel in the sense that it's not going to be pick up where the other one left off. We didn't want to do that this time around. In fact, I specifically asked our authors not to pick up where they left off and continue with that. But with Rob, it's a different kind of a thing, and so it sounded like a good idea. And you also may be seeing the return of a certain one-eyed minister or preacher from the Winter Fox Journals Book 1 and also from the lineage. This character, if you have read the books, you know what I'm talking about, has got a lot of history under his belt, and one of our authors may or may not have decided to write a piece on this character dating back into antiquity. And you also may or may not be finding out some different takes or some different branches of the lineage that you may not have seen coming. I certainly didn't when it was introduced to me. So just a few teasers out there, so you can look forward to the anthology. And like I said, we're going to be glad to bring it to you sometime winter of 2024. And of course, Miles is going to be contributing, like we talked about. And you want to give us a little hint or clue what you're working on there?
It's a new avenue this time. It's still set in the modern day, but we're going to be dealing with some of the arcane aspects of witchcraft, which you would have seen in Heart of Scars, mixed with modern day social media and the frenzy surrounding journalism right now.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. And if you read his story from the first anthology, he brings autobiography of a werewolf hunter right into the modern day, into the 21st century. And so mixing that with the witchcraft angle and everything, I can't wait to read that. And I don't know what it's going to be about.
I didn't tell him.
I've asked him not to tell me. I mean, I want to be surprised too, So we're looking forward to that as well. Well, thanks for joining us for this kind of a condensed version of Whiskey with the Werewolf Hunter for your June edition. God willing, next month we'll have Doc and Tex and Amanda back with us in pocket. But until then, thanks to Miles Boothe for having us here at the Werewolf Bar South. We're in Florida, if I didn't mention that before.
Thrilled to be here and looking forward to bringing you a great book in February of 2024.
All right. Happy hunting. Mind the moon.